So let's start by this outline. I'm going to be touch about the research journey, and I like to use this particular expression, and I will tell you later why. Then research community and connections. You need to know what is the research community. Of course, we know where we are, but you need to look at the the bigger picture, from a smaller picture to the bigger picture. Smaller picture starts from your group and to going to the bigger picture where you become a global researcher. And I will share my experience from nobody to somebody. Okay, so we also talk about research profile and tools, and at the end I try to gather some interesting points to just as a take home message. So knowing the destination, where you want to go, what you want to do, and basically like we plan for traveling, so we know the place, we start to read about the place where we go, and start to know prices, start to know locations, start to know hotels. Same for research. So where you want to go, what you want to do, then as usual you plan your journey. You need to plan your journey. So when you start, so you need to look at the different aspects of your study, including the social part, including the resources, including the time, including the health, including your wife, your children if you have, your family if you are living with a family, and so on. This is part of the journey that involve the preparation and putting the plans for that. Then you need to master the tools. These tools are basically what you need to do for PhD. You need to do to learn, from soft skills, how to handle your classmate, how to handle your boss, your supervisor, how to handle the technician, how to search for materials, how to approach a problem for in terms of search, and how you find research gaps. And this is all a lot of tools. I'm not going to tell about it, but I'm just trying to recall as much as I can in that short time, so that you get prepared for what I'm going to talk about. So after this, what you need to do, you need to deliver the message. Deliver the message is completing your research. And completing your research, submitting your thesis, and that's not enough. If submit your thesis, only supervisor and UTM, a little bit of maybe the librarian and few of your group knows about you. But you need to publish. And a lot to be said about publish or perish, or people will never recognize anything that has not been published because they don't know about it. So delivering the message here is basically presenting your work, submitting your work, publishing your work, and so on. And that is the time where you need to build your profile. Why? Because for building a profile, you have some achievements. That's the time where you advertise yourself, and you give a good portrait of yourself to tell people about yourself. So once you have that, then you obtain what's so called a license. Once you publish, once you get recognition, this is like obtaining the license. Now you become a driver of your own. Last time you get supervised. After this, you're supposed to supervise other people. Why? Because you learn the process. Starting from master, which is a training for research, after then for going to PhD, which is executing a typical and research of high value, which has originality and made a contribution. By then you have the license. This is the beginning of the show. It's not the end of it, because some, for certain reason, they may think that's the end of it. This particular license need to be validated, and that validation require you to do a kind of postdoc. Postdoc, it's a situation and a chance to what you call it, consolidate, and to prove you are a true researcher by now. And the best thing about the postdoc is to be done in another institute, not in the same institute where you graduate from. This is to get exposure to other environment and other school of thought and other way of doing research. And most likely, you people will go to higher institutes of higher levels or higher ranking, so that they can engage a tougher kind of research and a more systematic kind of research, which normally takes place in established research group, that leads to maturity and ability to judge. Because to judge means to judge other people work, to evaluate other people work technically, and give opinion in that. And so this will help you to extend it and innovate about it, and find the weakness of it, and introduce solutions. You are what you publish. So let's move on. So what's the research community? So you are somebody in a research group in the middle there. Okay, so this is, you are part of a research group, or you are part of a lab here. Okay, then this particular lab, basically you have connections in this particular case with other research groups in UTM. That is the first one. So from your lab to, maybe you are in the faculty, then from the faculty you are in the university. So what we normally look at, we try to connect ourselves with people doing similar work, but maybe for different application. Why? Because these people will be my backup. The people, the peers, we call them, that I will share, or I may inquire. Maybe that person is from physics. Maybe somebody from mathematics that will help me in mathematical modeling. Maybe somebody from computer science that will help me in programming. Maybe somebody from mechanical that will help me in a mechanical design, and so on. So we start here. So you are in a research group, then you have a relation with the group, then you have a relation with the research group in the same area, within the same university. So going to other, because Malaysia have many universities, so those universities are also doing similar research. So you may be also connected to those who are doing similar research directly, or supportive research in other university, right? And moving from the country to the region, maybe there is a very good research group in Singapore, or very good research group in Thailand, or very good research group in Indonesia. And then the group, the world groups working in similar area. What does it mean here? It means you find yourself in a circle. Then you draw a bigger circle which involve UTM, another bigger circle which involve a similar research group in Malaysia, another research group which involve similar research groups in the region, another big circle that involve what do you call it, world research group. So now you are in the center. So this is how you look at, this is your GPS actually. So you apply your GPS and you map every single person working in this. How do you know? From the publication, man. You know from the publication. Where do you read? When do you read? Basically, take the notes for the institution. And actually, you can use the modern tools like Web of Science, like Scopus and all this to find about this. So you map from local, from the same university up to the world. That's the conclusion in this particular slide. Talking about the community of peers. Who are the peers? People who has interest in my research, people who might read my research, people who might recommend my research, people who might view my research. And it starts from academia. It means academics. It means students, postgraduate students, lecturers, and anyone who is working in university who might be interested in my research. Okay, then also research institute, because maybe we don't have it in Malaysia very obviously, but also we do have maybe like some research institutes like RRI, Rubber Research Institute, like Syrium, for example, like Malaysian nuclear agencies. This is our national research institutes. They are not in academia, but they are actually our peers from, they call it agencies, government agencies involved in research activity. And for your information, these people are normally the consultants for the ministry when it comes to selection of projects, proposing of topics, evaluation of certain technology, and so on. Also, peers from industry. Maybe you wouldn't feel it here very much, but in America, in Europe, and all this, you get inquiries from people from industry, peers from scientific societies, American chemical societies, Institute of Chemical Engineers. Forgive me if I don't mention, because I'm not in civil. I don't know. There are society for civil engineers. There are society, still society. There are societies for social science. There are societies for, I mean, scientific society in general. I refer to the examples I'm very familiar with. But there are many of these are also peers, and also the last one, which is very interesting. They are the editors and the promoters. Who are the promoters? Probably some of you who are famous in publication, you get invitations. This invitation coming from people inviting you to attend the conference based on your publication, to write, especially new journals. They need new authors and all this. They write. These are the promoters. They are actually part of the editorial team. Their role is to promote. These people are searching, line by line, every one work, because everybody's trying on business, even looking at your language. Then they will offer you, proofreading or editing service. Yeah. So everything you do, they will look at it, and everyone trying to find business. Even some of them, they will offer you to prepare us what you call it. Online profile. Some will offer you kind of a software that can be used to to make graphics with nice pictures and so. How do you know? You look at your poor picture in the published article, then they offer you what you need to improve that particular figure, especially graphics and so on. So this is the community of peers. This is another layer that you have to look at, and you have to identify in where these people might be interact with you. This is a very interesting slide. So if you look at this schematic diagram, the source is given here down there. I get this from that reference. So you can see those are the research groups, representative of research group, and this is basically a virtual, research community connection and so on. So these are virtual research groups, and of course, the healthy and ideal research groups work online with industrial requirements. And this is, as you can see, most of the research groups are asked to collaborate with industry, get industrial grants, and most likely this is the area where we are all lacking actually, because industry in Malaysia sometimes they are not very much interested in doing R&D, because if multinational companies, they have their R&D in the mother country, so they are not really keen to do R&D from. But if you are a good researcher and you can do a real contribution and you can deliver, listen to this word, you can deliver, because working for industry is a commitment that you have to deliver in a short time and in a most accurate manner. But you can see research groups we have here. Those research groups are connected. You have all the connection here. See, you can see this research group produces data. This research group works in partnership with industry. Of course, research groups to document and to preserve, to keep the what you call it, to protect their finding, they go for this patenting office. This patenting office is, you have a lot of thousands of patents like there, where the knowledge is being kept. Okay, not all the patents certainly are what you call it, granted, but those who are tested are granted, and depend on who wants to buy those particular patents. If you look at every one of them, it means research group can contribute to industry. And for your information, in countries like Germany, like France, Airbus is working with the university directly. BMW and what you call it, Mercedes-Benz, they are directly working with research groups. They want to develop a new overhead lamp. They give the project to university. So university will develop the product for them. And this is actually the way to make money in Europe for professors and for research group. Otherwise, it's very tough. The salary in Europe is not that much, and the life is quite tough, very expensive and quite difficult. So you want to be rich and you want to do plenty of research in Europe and in US, you have a good link. You must have a good link with industry. Yeah, you can see now the link with industry. So group are connected with another group. Group is connected with an industry. Groups are connected with the patent office. Groups are connecting with the technology, what you call it, technology development. Probably we haven't seen this very much in Malaysia, but in Japan, there are companies which its role is to, is to build the prototype, take the technology from level 4 and 5 and prototype it and prepare it for commercialization. It is the step pre-commercialization step, because sometimes as a researchers we are not very much familiar with building a business model for our product, and calculating the ROI, or return on investment, and showing the big picture. Okay, and even do not know how to, if we want to make a large scale of our product, we don't know how to make it. So there are also technology development offices, and sometimes it is agents by the governments, like certain countries. In Japan, they have companies of 10, 12 people. Those companies, basically their role is to take your research and make it suitable for industrial application, and they sell that particular package to the big company after they put it in industrial industrial position. Okay, by the end of the day, you get the. I want you, and you see, can here, this is SMI, small and medium industry here. It's very much connected with this kind of technology development agencies and so on. I want you to look at this. You can see all the lines connected, all. So this basically, if you can really, really identify where your connections might be depending on your research, depending on your reading, depending on your engagement in conferences and in communications with peers and so on with industry. And this is how it happened. And by the way, you don't have to be all this together because it might look complicated. This is when you watch your professor. This is the leadership role. The leadership role, you attend the meeting, you attend the presentation, you attend, the activity that is going on, then you pick up, you build. Even you start knowing nothing, then along the way you learn how to do the literature review and writing and technicality, but also document, how to do document, and how to do troubleshooting, how to encounter problems, how to communicate with other companies, how to write emails in a business, not in a business say per se, but in a soft tone that inviting people to collaborate, or seeking help from somebody. The way you write is basically make the people pay attention or not to pay attention. And so, but you can look at this model, you can see all the lines are connected. It means, this is a lot of exposure. Maybe not everybody have everything like this, but it depends your exposure. So don't miss the exposure, because sometimes we are not keen enough to have these soft kind of skills. Okay. So what's the researcher role in this particular case? Okay, our role is simply to reflect about reality under our study. So we tell people, what we do and what we get. We produce the data, right? We disseminate, the research finding, and we share ideas. And then we contribute to the scientific knowledge. Okay, that is a noble cause, and probably our responsibility to execute research, to gather, the knowledge, the data, and the information. And by the way, data is different from information, is different from knowledge. Knowledge is the final facts that has been obtained from the information that has been obtained from the data after it has been interpreted in the real circumstances. That is called knowledge. Okay, so our role is to execute, gather, share, and also link with the community of peers. You are not alone. You are not living alone. You have to connect. And I will praise my students when I ask them communicate with other students, PhD students in other groups. So what is the profile all about? So representation of something, outline of something, summary of something, set of data, often graphic from for portraying the significant feature of something. That's the degree or level of public exposure. What's the benefit of research profile? A lot of benefits, from the personal level to the universal university level, the group level. I take it as the earlier slides where we show, start from your research group, the benefit for you yourself, for your research group, for the faculty, for the research institute where you attach to the university, then to the by all to the country. Yes, to the country. Yes, because what the journals are looking at performance of countries. Malaysia has, published 30,000 papers. You are one of them. Malaysians have expertise in membrane technology. You are one of them. How do you know? Because you publish one good article, another people publish good article in the same area. Then Malaysia build the capacity in membrane technology. Malaysia build the capacity in microelectronics. Malaysia build the capacity what? Based on my contribution as individual, it goes to the whole country by the end of the day. Can you imagine that? This is how significant it is, and basically improve the and improve the look and feeling, increase the visibility of your research, and also statistically engaging content means something a content, beautiful content people used to or want to look at, save time maintaining content. Okay, because when you make a profile, this profile can be automatically updated, also self promotion and marketing tools, and all your profile information is supposed to be in one place, in this case. Okay, add to that, you show showcase your work to the world, you manage your publication list, potential, it shows potential for collaboration. You got offer, actually, misidentification, it can be avoided. Also you get invitations to write book chapters and review articles and special issues, and so on. And after all, yeah, they increase the output of research arm of UTM.